Hello, it's Kevin again. In this short video, we're going to look at some of the signs and symbols we find on a piece of written music. And we'll learn what a few of these mean. There are many hundreds of these, so we're just going to focus on some of the ones that you're likely to see very frequently and very early on. Let's have a look. On this screen we have a number of symbols that we will commonly find in a piece of music. The first symbol is the clef sign, which we've looked at in a previous video. The next symbol will be a collection of sharps or flats, sometimes nothing at all, that is the key signature of the piece. More about key signatures in a later video. The next symbol is a fraction, one number stacked on top of another. This first one is 4/4. This signifies that the piece of music is in 4/4 timing. The top note tells us that there are 4 beats to the bar. The bottom note tells us the size of each of those beats, in this case a quarter note or a crotchet. So for bars like this with a 4/4 time signature, we will count those 1, 2, 3, 4. There are other time signatures possible. Here is another common one. Here is 3/4 time. Here we have 3 beats to the bar, each beat being a quarter note or crotchet. So we will count these sorts of bars. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can instantly see this has got a sense of a waltz to it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Here we have another common time signature, 6/8. 6 beats to the bar, each beat being an eighth note or quaver. So this bar we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are many other possibilities, but one specifically to be aware of is this one, which is the letter C. C stands for common time, which is the same as 4/4 time. So there will be 4 quarter beats to the bar. It's simply that 4/4 time is so frequently used, it's become known as common time and is often depicted with the letter C. Then we see a whole host of different types of bar line. Here's a bar line. It's the bit that splits up these 2 bars, the vertical line, just an ordinary line. Here we have what we call a double bar line. There are 2 bar lines right next to each other. This signifies the end of a section of music. So here I'm using this to mark the end of the section where we're talking about time signatures. If we come down to the second line of music where we have a number of other bar lines, here we have a double bar line where one of those lines is thicker than the other, and there are 2 dots in front of it. This is known as a repeat sign, and it's a sign that marks the start of a section that is to be repeated, i.e. played again. If we move along a little bit, we come to a sign that is the reverse of that, with the 2 dots facing backwards rather than forwards. This is an end of repeat sign and marks the end of a section that is to be repeated. So if we just had these 2 bars with a repeat sign at the beginning and an end of repeat sign at the end, we would play or sing those 2 bars, hit the repeat sign, go back to the start of repeat sign and play or sing them again, and then carry on with the rest of the music. The next thing we find are these things. Brackets above, sometimes below, but usually above the music with numbers. This with the number 1 is called a first time ending. It will appear with an end above an end of repeat sign. And what it means is when we play the music, we play all the way along the music until we hit this repeat sign. Then we go back to the place where the repeat started and play it all again until we get to this point here. The first time through, we played to here, which was the first time ending, and that's what this means. On the second time through, we're not going to play the first time ending. We miss out these 2 bars and skip to the second time ending and then play from there forwards. So the first time through, this is the end. The second time through, this is the end instead. And then finally, for bar lines, we have this one right at the very end, which is the final bar line. It's a thin line followed by a thick line, and it signifies the end of a piece of music. Another set of signs that we see commonly are rests. Music is made up of sounds and silences. The sounds are indicated by the notes, and we looked at note shapes in a previous video. Each note shape has an equivalent rest, which means that for the length of that note, we actually don't play anything. It's silent. Here we see a semibreve rest. This is the equivalent of a semibreve, but is silent. So this is silence that lasts for 4 beats. Here we see minim rests. So each of these lasts for the same length as a minim, that is 2 beats, but is silent for those 2 beats. Here is a crotchet rest. This lasts for 1 beat, so 1 beat of silence. These are quaver rests. Each of these lasts for half a beat, so half a beat of silence. And finally here we have semi-quaver rests, each of which lasts for a quarter of a beat. Finally, for the moment, occasionally we'll see these signs. Sometimes it appears upside down underneath the stave. This is known as a bird's eye, or more technically a fermata. And when it is placed above or below a note, it signifies that that note is to be held for a little bit longer than would be normal. So we just play or sing the note for a little bit longer. So that's our look at some of the symbols that we'll commonly find in a piece of music. We'll look at more in a later video, but that's it for this one. See you in the next one.